Hi everyone, Stephen Moody here with a follow-up video to my vlog where I talk through my recent heart attack episode, which came as a big shock to me as I am quite an athletic and fit guy. So in that video, I talk about how it felt, what I did, etc., and some steps that I actually did that actually saved my life. So please do check that out if you haven't already. And that's in the comments below, and it's at the end of the video. The other thing I want to do is say a massive thank you to all the people who have reached out, well wishes, and was it liked and shared the video, because that's the real key thing here. There's some really simple stuff about how to recognize a heart attack and what things you should do or a preparation to allow you come out through the other side of that the way I did, fit and healthy. What we're going to talk about in this video is what's life after the heart attack and why it happened to me, and what I could have done differently, possibly to avoid it. And more importantly for you is what you can learn from this video that maybe you can avoid something happening similar to yourself. Okay, but let's start off with a little bit of good news. Well, no, it's great news. I have, since my heart attack episode, which is roughly around a month ago at this stage, I've had my sign off from my cardiologist to return to training. As I said, I'm a triathlete, an Ironman, marathoner, and I love my running, cycling, swimming, etc. I'm delighted I can go back to that. That's massive. It also allowed me to come to commence my cardio rehab, which is my physio for my heart. So in that, I was also able to ask some really key questions about why did it happen, because I am not your typical was it a candidate for a heart attack. Never smoked. I drink sparingly. I exercise 5-6 days a week, and my diet is broadly healthy. So that was my first question. Now that I'm over the shock, and I went, okay, but why me? As in, surely I said, well, and we came down to kind of three factors. One, it was actually genetic, and I didn't realize until I did a bit of deep dive on my own side that we have a family history of heart disease on my father's side, closer to my mother. So we're well over there. They've got the wonderful curse of cancer on their side, so I've got the wonderful genetics mixed together. The other elements that I had a bit of an early warning about, and I stupidly ignored, were my diet and my stress management. And I'll talk a bit about that. So, just to clarify some other things, by the way, one, doing all this exercise, not a reason why I had the heart attack, as I'm going, oh, need to cut back on the cycling. No. And I asked a specific question, and my cardio rehab said, actually, with your genetic profile and the way this has happened, it's realistic. If you haven't been so active, you would have had this episode 10 years previously, and more likely you would have much more worse outcome because you're so strong and fit. You walked away from it having a heart attack without any damage to your heart. So your exercise has kept you alive. And let's just change some other things which will keep you further alive, said winner. Another thing it has nothing to do with, and again, I'm a little bit strong on this. This is having hard episodes like where I had a 90% blockage in my lad artery. That is known as the widowmaker, and that has been happening for many years before COVID. This has nothing to do with the vaccine. And if you want proof, there's a good documentary on Netflix called The Widowmaker, made in 2015. I know there's some questions about, was it myocarditis, except no, this has nothing to do with the vaccine. As I said, this is my personal experience. This is due to genetics, stress, and diet, etc. So anyhow, good to know I have identified what the root cause is and what I can do differently, and I'll talk about that at the end of the video. But what can you do to prevent actually having the heart attack in the first place? One, and again, I talk about this in the previous video, you've got to talk to your doctor. You've got to go, and especially if you're a male in your 40s onwards, I don't care how active you are, I don't care how fit you think you are, get in, say, listen, can I have my bloods done? I get these done twice a year. And also talk to them about having a coronary calcium scan, because my bloods actually didn't flag anything, because my bloods are good. My blood pressure is good. My cholesterol is 3.2. The only thing that really kind of about my triglycerides were a little on the high side, and that highlights that shows up because I have a sweet tooth and I eat a lot of junk. Again, wrongly thinking I can out train and burn this all off. Rubbish. I was just adding to all the problems that are going to come down the track. But if I had had a more recent coronary calcium scan, I would have seen that my arteries were building up plaque and getting narrower and narrower, and therefore I could have actually either had a stent in before the episode, I could have gone on statins or aspirin to to kind of medically manage or chemically manage my blood flow and minimize the chance of having this blockage. Annoyingly enough, I had this test done just before COVID, and I came out with a score which put me in the low to moderate risk. But that was literally 1 week before COVID and the world shut down. And again, it just shows that within a 5-year period, I went from low to moderate to having an episode. So please take away this piece of information. The time to have your test is now. The time to have the next test is kind of regularly, and agree that with your doctor. And do look at getting your bloods. The bloods can be done with the GP. Absolutely fine. If you're looking for an EKG, ECG, or the calcium scan, you need to get a referral from your doctor. But the GP is your first port of call. Talk to, I wanted to get a bit more health check and all the rest, and get these tests scheduled in. It'll give you a chance to actually have an early intervention. May that be put on statins, may that be changing your lifestyle, maybe changing your diet. There's ways and means that you can avoid sitting on that table where I had and having a stent put in. So please do that. And please tell your friends. As I said, as long as we get this word out, let's have the conversation. It's affecting way more people than I thought it was. I'm getting loads of feedback from Facebook, and it's scary how many people are affected. And again, a little bit of proactivity, a little bit of diet management, a little bit of stress management. Well, that's for me actually. But lifestyle changes can mean you can avoid all this. So what's next for me? As I said, I'm delighted to be able to return to training. I am now much more aware of my genetics and the things I need to even take more care of. I can't do any more exercise in terms of, like, my exercise profile is great, and they say that. I never smoked. That was never something that was going to reduce my risk factor. My drink a couple of glasses of wine at the weekend, nothing big to shout home about. But I can definitely do improve my diet, which I'm working on now, and also my stress management, which increases cortisol. These are things I can do that means I do not have another coronary episode again, and means I can start doing half Ironman races, marathons, all the things I love doing. So I'm really excited about that, and I really hope that you guys take heed of the advice and learn from my lessons, and actually just go out there, make the changes, and have a healthy life. That would be absolutely brilliant. Guys, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Remember to like and share the other video which shows people about how to recognize the signs of a heart attack and what to do, and then share this, because then they can actually avoid it in the first place. Thanks very much, guys. Have a great week.